Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Yeah, it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
We're going to talk about this because it's another Disney remake that nobody asked for. It's another Disney remake that has been controversial for some of the changes made to the original. And of course, now we've got the media defending Peter Pan and Wendy, being like, oh my God, it's being review bombed.
Yeah, but a lot of people that have been giving it bad scores have been the critics.
Yeah, I looked at it, and regardless of what you think about the casting choices or whatever, I'm like, why does it look so dark? Why does it look so murky? Why do we need this when there's been like 5 other live-action Peter Pan movies in the last couple of years?
Yeah, and I'm listening to the audience and the critic score, and the audience basically, like, there's like Jude Law's really good, the girl that plays Tiger Lily's really good. Some of them are even praising the actress that plays Wendy. They all keep saying Peter Pan has like no emotion whatsoever, and he's not good. And there's a lot of complaints about it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if your movie is called Peter Pan and Wendy, then Peter Pan and Wendy have to be good. Like, it is literally the movie. Well, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson was the weakest link in the whole movie. Yeah,
so we're going to talk about this, but before we get into it any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownshishtv.com. We have a website too. Go out there. Go out to piratesandprincesses.net, another website focused mostly on objective Disney and theme park
right,
news.
But according to Twitter, I just hate Disney.
You just hate Disney. And if you give us a sub, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo!
All right.
So yeah, we're going to start off looking at this. Now, they're all going with the whole narrative that, oh, it's being review bombed, you know, on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Now, that being said, I think there are people that are deliberately going and giving it 1 stars.
Sure.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I was looking through it, and I think that is the case. However, I'm also seeing a lot of people giving it 5 stars and being very arrogant in their reviews just because they can. But I'm also seeing a lot of 3 stars and 4 stars that are saying it's good, but it has problems. And I'm seeing a lot of that too. And the critics scores, even the ones that said they were fresh, a lot of them are like, it's fresh, I guess, but there's a lot of problems. So if the audience is review bombing, then so are the critics. Maybe there's being honest, but I do think there is some review bombing going on the audience side. And I do think there's some, what do they call it, with the opposit, where when they're giving it 5 stars.
It is review bombing.
It's review bombing to the positive.
Yeah.
As well. So, you pulled these up here where we're looking at some of the headlines.
Yeah, so we've got, I mean, look, they're like, oh my God, got review bombed. But then we see actually some of the reviews. Disney's remake fails to capture the magic of Peter Pan. Is Hollywood out of ideas? Oh, just wait, Little Mermaid's coming too. That's going to be a dead fish.
Yes. I saw somebody today talking about it, and they were saying about her sisters, and people are like, why are they all different? And the one person's like, well, if you're going to complain about the ethnicism in this movie, it's just correcting itself, and it should be corrected. And then they also said, but King Triton, he must have got around because he's a king. I'm like, so wait, you're condoning the guy sleeping around because he's a dude? And so that's sexist, but then you're telling everybody else that they're terrible people for not agreeing with all the ethnic choice, the ethnicity, being shoved in there for no reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
I'm like, which one is it? Yes, are you the asshole then? I mean, I don't know.
Look, at the end of the day, what is going to determine whether or not? Yeah, well, Peter Pan and Wendy, they took a look at that and they're like, yeah, you can tell it
Disney Plus.
Just dump it onto Disney Plus. Like, nobody's gonna pay for this shit, right? They knew this. They knew that with Pinocchio too. It had Tom Hanks in it, but they're like, dump it on Disney Plus. If they thought people were gonna pay for that shit, they would have put it in the theater. And Little Mermaid, though, apparently they think people are going to pay for that shit.
Apparently. And they might.
And they might. It might make $1 billion. I had no idea.
A lot of people are just put off by Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttle. I mean, honestly, that's my biggest turn off. They look awful. People
said that it looks like Ariel's supposed to be like dancing with Flounder, but it's just like picking up a fish and jiggling it around like an actual fish. It's like,
that does not translate into live action. I can't get past that. I mean, her being Halle Bailey, that doesn't bother me so much. The fact they're changing songs and stuff, for stupid reasons, and the fact that Flounder, Sebastian, and Scuttle look like shit. That's that I just cannot. It's like when once it has been seen, it cannot be unseen. And I just rather not see it to scar my brain to begin with. Yeah, the only way you could do The Little Mermaid in live action, I think, is to go back. I personally think is go back to the original fairy tale and not have the anthropomorphic animal characters and or if there are animals, like, oh, she talks to them, but they don't talk back. Well, in the trailer, Scuttle comes under the water and scares Flounder, but Scuttle comes under the water and it's eating fish. And she's like, oh, it's okay, Flounder, it's just Scuttle. Flounder just ate your cousin. I know, right? I'm like, what the hell? Anyway.
That was Joe.
Yeah,
he was my brother.
Yeah, he was my friend. Okay, so we got this covered. Is Peter Pan and Wendy getting review bombed, or is it the cause of its poor audience reception more innocent?
It could just be a case of people don't like it. People don't like it.
People said it doesn't really offer any new story. People say it's more like the book, I think. They said there's few risks taken. They said they're talking about half-star review ratings, concerned about the film being review bombed out of spite because of casting decisions. Changeability of characters to suit the sensibilities of presentism is offensive. Another person said a complete disservice to the original book. Stop with the remakes. Some people just don't like it because it's a remake. So they go on about that. But what I want to look at is this. And this is why I wanted to do the video. Here's the thing. They keep saying the audiences are review bombing it. We'll get to that in a minute. But when you go to the critic score, which actually has dropped 2% since I did a story on it yesterday on PNP, it's not good, guys. Like, some of these are like major news outlets, like a Mashable. As a woman, when detractors decry Disney for cannibalizing IP for profit, they could point to Peter Pan and Wendy, a live-action recreation of a classic movie that mercilessly bleeds life out of its iconic characters and passion out of its heralded Helmer.
Ouch.
Then they have, like, here, this one's a fresh, right?
Yeah.
This film suffers in its familiarity and the kind of modern emphasis on relationships over action. But the special effects are great, especially during the famous fight sequences, and the cast is game to handle the changes and the legend, Jim Gaffigan Smee. So, but that's supposed to be a positive.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about Rotten Tomatoes. It's really weird, and it's almost whoever is in charge of deciding if it's a green or a red, right? Whoever it is, it depends on what their bias is, I think, because a lot of times there are very middling, lukewarm. They need like a mushy tomato, like it's not quite rotten yet, but it's kind of brown.
Yeah. Well, here,
like a pile of shit.
Here, Pajiba.
Like shitty tomato.
Again, another woman. Peter Pan and Wendy is another example of realism ruining creativity. From Hook's drab appearance to the lack of color to boring action. It has no personality. It's not the worst of the Disney live actions, but the studio is losing touch with its own magic.
Stop remaking everything that you've done better in the past. Stop it. It's like, I mean, Walt, he would just be disgusted. He would be disgusted at what his company has become.
Well, but I'm just like, my point is, even the ones that are fresh, I mean, some of them are glowing.
CNN.
CNN. Noah something. Peter Pan was created in important ways out of racism, and no one in the film has yet figured out how to make him fly free of it. Well, it was also made in 1904, so you have to take that into context. This other guy, still packed with this is fresh, with the wonders of the original, but it struggles against the modern necessities of an update of the story. So they're shoehorning shit in, ruins the original. Then other people say it was good. It's too long to fly. By the time the woolly pirates burst into their second rousing sea shanty, our minds begin to liken the Jolly Roger to the philosophical paradox of Theseus' ship. How many planks can you swap out while still claiming it's the real deal?
And that's the New York Times. Mm-hmm. Holy hell.
It's like, it feels like, this is a positive, it feels like an incongruous mix of both. And it said if he had reinvented Peter Pan like he did Pete's Dragon, a much better movie would have been the result. Instead, there's a front-loaded fealty to the traditional interpretation of the story that's pretty boring. That's a fresh.
Yeah. So
I didn't like the new Pete's Dragon, by the way.
The new Pete's Dragon was... So they already tried to reinvent the Peter Pan. They did a problematic movie with Johnny Depp about Peter Pan, and they reinvented kind of the telling of the story. But there have been so many live-action versions of Peter Pan. I mean, there's been at least 10 that I can think of.
Everybody keeps saying Hook. Go back to Hook. That's what everybody keeps saying.
And Hook, everybody else was
and it was reinvented.
When Hook came out, they're like, this is sacrilege. You're trying to make a bootleg sequel to Peter Pan. It's like, that one holds up, right? That one holds up over everything else.
Here, another one, Polygon. In spite of Lowry's numerous hints towards a refreshing take, the light of this particular promise remains mostly obscured.
That's positive.
So I'm saying, even the positives by the critics are not good. And then you go up to the audience score, which has dropped considerably since I did my article yesterday. And then, now, again, one of the worst movies, never before have I wanted to die. Okay, yes. Okay. I think some of these are, deliberately review bombing. I'm not going to lie. People said the first 15 minutes are great, but then by 30 or 40 minutes, it was like, does this story really translate well to live action? By an hour in, the story takes a clear turn from the source material, and I lost interest and turned it off. And that's what I'm hearing from people. It's boring. It's either boring or it's too fast-paced. It doesn't have time to breathe. I'm hearing this over and over again. A lot of half stars, you know, a lot of 1 stars, and then they said that this person's probably fair. You know, we were both retired. We liked the movie. But they weren't like trying to take sides either way. But then we get over here to
retirees love it. That, oh my God, I can just see what they do. They always do the shout outs to the critics. You know, it's like, this is what people are saying about Disney's new Peter Pan. We're retired and we loved it. Yes. 4 stars.
Pretty much. Hold on, I'm trying to find this one. There's this one person and they're just this is sums up what I'm saying with the other way. It was a 5-star. Let me find it. It was this Tom guy. Where are you, Tom?
Some MySpace Tom?
I don't know. It's Tom W. I'm trying to find it, but it was so arrogant, and I was like, yeah, that's about right. This person, and then there's this person. The negative reviewers here have to be a bunch of trolls that didn't see this film, or were Philistines too stupid to appreciate it. Every David Lowery film is beautiful and amazing. Oh, this is David Lowery's probably brother. And this is no exception. I would say it's one of his best. I'm a fan of the 1953 film, and this remake amplifies the original and in many ways rivals it. The cinematography is breathtaking. The acting was amazing. The story was dark and rich. Yet this is a fast-paced action film that kept the attention of my 9-year-old. Well, everybody keeps saying it's boring. We were all in tears at the end. Well, I'm not surprised, Thomas. I hate living in a world where this film gets so many bad reviews. There's a joke I'm not going to make. Are we reviewing Disney or the merits of this film? There are so few good films made these days, especially children's movies. And this is one of them, you trolls, Philistines.
Including CNN, including the New York Times.
Right. But Tom here is smarter than everyone and wants you to know that you're basically a Philistine and a troll if you didn't give it a 5 out of 5 and thought it was the best thing ever like him. Now, look, I do think that there are some people trying to review bomb it. I do think people like Tom are trying to undo the review bombing. I think the truth likely lies in the middle. But what I'm seeing the most repeated over and over from both the critics and the audiences is Jude Law's good. The girl who plays Tiger Lily is great. The girl who plays Wendy is pretty good. Peter Pan looks unenthused. Looks like he doesn't want to be there. A lot of people said they flesh out Wendy more and they show more of Peter's background that makes him look like a more well-rounded character. And everything else. It's just, it was okay. I think it's a solidly in the middle live action Disney film. You may like it, you may not.
It's another
boring. People said it's really fast paced, but some people said it's boring. They said it's really dark.
Everybody's going to forget about this movie when The Little Mermaid comes out.
Right.
They'll start bitching about that.
And no one's hardly even talking about Tinkerbell. And then
it never came up really in any of
so that's the one that they should be. Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, the one thing, you should be talking about. And all the Lost Boys who are girls too for some reason. But, whatever. That aside, so who cares? I'm just like, they said visually it looks cool. Like there's a lot of special effects that look cool. And that's basically what they're all agreeing on.
Yeah.
But the reviews keep going down. Is it being review bombed? Then it is by the critics too, because a lot of them are saying the same things.
Yeah, it's meh. Meh. That's basically
it's serviceable is what people are saying.
That is the state of Disney at this point. Even objectively at this point, Disney Entertainment, the vast majority of it is just corporate produced stuff. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it's just retreading their greatest hits, and they're doing a worse job for it. Like I said, Walt would be colossally disappointed in this company. Like he would just be like, "What? Where did you go
Walt's
wrong?"
problematic, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter what Walt thinks. It's not about him anymore.
It's the most sexist, misogynistic thing ever. Bringing up Walt.
Just call it something else.
But I still love how they're like, because it was so problematic with the original story written in 1904.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, maybe you should just stop. Maybe you should make new things. Maybe you should stop doing live action reimaginings of every fucking thing you've ever done. Peter Pan is in the public domain now.
We should make a Peter Pan movie.
There you go.
We'll make a Peter Pan movie with
I don't want
obese, drug-addled Tinkerbell like they're.
No, that's what they're going to do for the other thing. I can't copy that. How's she fly then? Exactly. That's our dog. Exactly.
Little angel dust instead of pixie dust.
Oh, okay. It needs a big
white
angel
powder.
dust. It needs a big angel dust if she's really, obese, and I mean, her little wings aren't going to carry her. I'm sorry. This is coming from a woman who's fat herself.
That would be hilarious.
So I can play Tinkerbell?
No. We should get a dude playing Tinkerbell.
Oh, well, that's just fair.
That's fair.
That's just culturally,
Hot Tink.
That's just
with an 8-pack.
That's just culturally, acceptable. You're just trying to make it, for modern audiences.
Yeah, for modern audiences.
I wonder if Dylan's available. I mean, we'll give Tink some Bud Lights and call it a day.
Get Tink lit. How many Bud Lights do you actually have to drink to get drunk? I think you'd have to drink a lot.
I really don't know because I don't drink Bud Light. It tastes like
nobody drinks Bud Light. That's the thing. Like, who cares? You're the king of the crap.
That's what I don't understand. Like, everybody's getting so mad. I'm like, none of you drank it anyway. So
nobody does. That's the problem.
And the thing is, I know it was terrible of me. It's so terrible
Bud Light is
but my first thought about the whole thing was, well, I just thought Dylan was actually a really, really good spokesperson choice because Bud Light's piss that identifies as beer. So I just think it's just fitting.
How are we like, this is where we're at, guys. This is where, like, the biggest conversation happening in the media right now is over Bud Light. And that probably was the point.
Well, that's what most people have talked about Bud Light in years.
Yeah, nobody cared about Bud
Light. So who really loses here? Anyway,
not me. I don't drink it. I think I had one time. I'm like, what the hell is this?
What is this? Sam
Adams.
Sam Adams. Back to the fucking point.
Okay.
Peter Pan and Wendy. Yeah, it is what it is. You can like it. If you like it, that's cool. You are allowed to like it. If you don't like it and then you legitimately watch it and don't like it, that's cool. You don't have to like it. It just seems like if they're claiming the audience is review bombing it, which in some way they are somewhat, but they're also review bombing it the other way. The critics, though, they're not giving it glowing reviews either. So their argument is very thin if they're trying to say that they're just hating on it to hate it. The flipping critics and the places that you would expect them to be all about this are like, it's basically trying too hard to be for modern audiences, and it sucks now.
Yeah.
And these are from like Polygon and Pajiba and stuff like that, Yeah. I'm just bringing that up. And
lost.
IGN.
This isn't a political thing anymore. Disney is turning out dog shit movies, and watch them, don't watch them. I don't give a shit. But the reality is that normies are looking at it and they're starting to notice the stuff's not that good.
Yeah.
It's just not that good.
It's like not everything has to be politically motivated. Anyway, Are we done?
We're definitely done. I am way over it today. I just don't feel like talking anymore. So let's shut it down.
All right. We will talk to you later.
Bye. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.